Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy LaRon. We back with another video. You see the thumbnail, see this video's about, so let's get straight into it. Yo, I want to give props to Marc Lamont Hill. He came out with this video on the Black News channel that I came across, speaking some real facts. So I'm gonna play the clip of the video. During the clip of the video, I'll give you my opinions about what it's saying. After that, I'll give you my final thoughts on it. If you want to see the video in its full entirety, I'll put a link in the description box below. All right, let's get straight into it.
As soon as Russia invaded Ukraine and the war broke out, everybody around the world was almost unanimous in its support for the Ukrainian people. Everybody stood up and spoke out about how this was wrong, and they talked about the humanitarian cost, and they talked about sympathy. They sent their prayers. They did all the things you do when bad things happen to people who don't deserve it. I ain't mad at that. That is cool. Here's my issue. The international community, specifically powerful nations, media outlets, and everyday citizens, especially white ones, have been so dishonest, so disingenuous, and also so mean-spirited in many ways in regard to how they are responding to what's going on in the Ukraine. Let's start with the dishonesty and the disingenuousness. When the war broke out in Ukraine, you got countries running around talking about, we stand with the Ukrainian people. This is a contravention of international law. We must recognize and respect territorial boundaries and integrity. We must allow people to be sovereign and govern themselves. We must honor treaties. We must do all this stuff. And that sounds good, except many of the nations who are standing up and saying this stuff. Australia, did you do that with the Aborigines? No. The United States, how many countries have we invaded? How many countries have we bombed? How much territorial integrity and sovereignty have we ignored? How much funding have we given to nations that do it?
That right there is a big fact. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. You know, like I said, Australia, United States, we do the same thing. We do the exact same thing. And everybody turns a blind eye to it. Well, from what I see, people turn a blind eye to it. So, yeah, like I said, Marc Lamont Hill speaking facts on this. Let's keep going.
Israel continues to not honor the territorial boundaries and sovereignty of the Palestinian people. They continue to violate international law. So for all these countries to stand up and speak with crocodile tears about the Ukrainian people, and they don't say anything about things that are happening around the world, it's disturbing to me. It's also really problematic that we're having these conversations as if this is the first place or the first time that this happened. The very same week that the Ukrainian people were harmed by Russia, Israel is bombing Syria.
Did not know that. That definitely got swept under the rug. I did not know that. Wow. I'll get on that later, but dang, I didn't know that.
Saudi Arabia is bombing Yemen. Bombings are happening all around the world, and it seems like the only people who got sympathy were the Ukrainian people. The only people who got international love and prayers and declarations and statements made were the European folk, the white folk. Not the brown folk. Damn sure not the black folk. Why? I think we got a simple answer. And that answer is white supremacy.
See, I ain't gonna lie. When I first came across this and I heard him say white supremacy, I kind of cringed because I always think white supremacy is a buzzword. But the way he break white supremacy down, it makes sense in this context. Check this out.
That answer of white supremacy speaks to racism, it speaks to Orientalism, it speaks to all these other, what we call discourses, these things that have you think the world operates a certain way and you normalize it. So we think, oh, starvation happens in Africa, so if there's a famine in East Africa, nobody trips because they think that's just what's supposed to happen. Oh, those Arabs been fighting forever, so when you see a bombing or some kind of internal war, you don't trip about it when it happens in the Middle East, but somehow it's not supposed to happen here. And this ain't my theory. CBS News had somebody report that. They said, well, this is happening in basically a European country, and they're civilized. He used the word civilized.
You know how crazy that is, that they just say, all right, this is not supposed to happen here because they civilized. Like, nah, man. I like I said, I give Marc Lamont Hill on the props on this one, man. He's hitting all points and all cylinders, yo. You got to give this man his props. So let's continue.
Another reporter talked about it being people with blonde hair and blue eyes and how that's what makes this a problem.
Yep, I seen that report. I seen that reporter say that. I came across that on Instagram. I seen a reporter say that it got to be because people got blonde hair and blue eyes. That's why it's a problem. It's, man, like I said, he's hitting on all cylinders right here.
People keep talking about this as if it shouldn't happen here. You're right, it shouldn't happen here, but it shouldn't happen anywhere. But the fact that the global community is only outraged when it happens to Ukraine, they get mad when Crimea gets annexed, they get mad when people from Kosovo and Kosovars get kidnapped back in the day, but they don't say anything about Nigerian girls getting kidnapped. They don't say anything about Lebanese people being bombed. They don't say anything about Afghanistan and Iraq. They don't say anything about Palestine. They don't say anything about Yemen. They don't say anything about Kenya. They don't say anything about Somaliland. They don't say anything about any of these countries, South Sudan, Sudan. They don't say anything about anything other than white folk. That's why on Black News Tonight, we cover these stories every single night. Because we can't wait for the media to tell us when to be outraged. We can't wait for the international community of powerful elites and powerful bodies of money. I'm talking about the United States. I'm talking about France. I'm talking about Germany. I'm talking about the World Bank. I'm talking about all these companies and institutions that tell us when to care and how to care. We can't wait for them.
That's facts. They do tell you who to care and how to care for, and people swallow it up at fourfold every time. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember one time when it was something going on in France. And I see Haitian people made a profile picture like the France overlay that goes over their face. And I'm like, wow, all the stuff that France did to Haiti, and Haitian people are making a profile picture of a French overlay. And they said they stand with France. And I was just like, you gotta know your history, man. And like you said, these elites are telling you who to have sympathy for, and a lot of times we just fall for it and go for the okie doke.
We got to have our own compass, our own values, and our own principles. And everybody out there that's bleeding their heart for Ukraine, good. Save some sympathy for black and brown folk. Or be honest and say you only care because they white.
Damn. Yo. Whew. Shout out to Marc Lamont Hill. So yeah, man, what do y'all think about that? That was, Marc Lamont Hill, he's definitely on one. That's what you know what I'm saying? Like, when I first heard about the Black News Channel, this is what I wanted it to be. They tell you who to be sympathetic for. Even though this is going on all the time. That news reporter did say, because these people got blonde hair and blue eyes.
I'm sorry, it's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed. Children being killed every day with Putin's missiles and his helicopters and his rockets.
Or another news reporter said this is civilized area.
Now the unthinkable has happened to them. And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
So this shouldn't happen here. It shouldn't happen nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't happen anywhere. You know, they pump out who to be sympathetic for. And we swallow up all the time. Not to mention what's going on with the Africans out there that's studying abroad that can't leave Ukraine. Shout out to Marc Lamont Hill, man. This is what I love when he has this type of passion on this type of subjects and bring all the type of heat. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments, man. All right, man. I appreciate your time. Until next time. Peace.